Hello, welcome to Oceanic Oracle. My name is Ari and today I'm going to be going through all the books that I got in January. I know I've said I'm supposed to be on a book buying ban, but most of these I got before I went on that ban. One of them was a present from my sister. I also have got myself like a few new additions for my Rick Riordan shelf, which you can sort of see like that's gone down a bit. That's neither here nor there. Anyway, I am going to be going through all the stuff that I've got. I'm going to be breaking this video up into different parts. The first few books I'm going to go through are my classics. Then I'm going to go through my like new adult romance that I need to share with you. And then I'm going to go through my YA fantasy. And I'm going to finish off with adult fantasy, so feel free to jump to whatever time stamp you want. They'll be in the chapters at the bottom of the video. I guess we should get started then. I'm going to start off with the classics that I got in January. The first one I have actually read, and that is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This is like one of the first real science fiction books. Mary Shelley was a pioneer of the genre. We wouldn't have science fiction without Mary Shelley. We would not be where we are today without her. This is an interesting book. It's split up into 3 volumes. The first volume follows Victor Frankenstein, the second follows Frankenstein's monster, and the third is a combination of the two of them together. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4. I had prior knowledge of Frankenstein. I was in the play adaptation of Frankenstein at school, so I did know the story. It was quite interesting because I was able to compare what happened in the play versus what happens in the book, and I found that really enjoyable. The character development is really, really good. It happens quite quickly. This book isn't even 200 pages. I really, really appreciated it. It is also classed as like a horror book, but I don't read horror and I didn't find this too gruesome, so I think the worst thing you have in here is like strangulation. I guess if you don't like reading about death, probably better to not pick this up, but I really enjoyed it, and I think if you're interested in like seeing where science fiction began, there we go. That was the first classic that I got in January. The next one is The Hounds of the Baskervilles by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. This is a Sherlock Holmes mystery. I have seen like film adaptations and the Sherlock show on the BBC. I have seen their renditions of this. From what I remember, I think there are some hounds get murdered, and then a member of the Baskervilles family gets murdered as well, and Dr. Watson goes to investigate by himself. I can't remember like what happens in the end. I'm excited to pick this up at some point. I really like the Penguin cloth-bound edition. I wish I had more of these, but like it wouldn't be good for my shelf and my wallet if I had more of these. It's very aesthetically pleasing to me and I can't wait to pick it up, so I'm excited. Next book I'm going to talk about is my singular new adult romance, and that is Red, White and Royal Blue. This is one of my favourite books. It's about characters who are like my age, which makes a ton of difference, let me tell you. If you have any recommendations for like romances with people in their like in their 20s, please let me know. I like the new adult aged books because it works for me. This is about the son of the President of the United States, Alex, and it's about his I guess rivalry with Prince Henry of Wales. This is just a fun romance book. It's about Alex coming to terms with himself and looking and seeing that there's more to him than he initially thought. I really enjoyed this. I love their sort of like hate to love relationship, and I really like Casey McQuiston's writing. Their writing is stunning. I can't tell you how happy I am to actually have a physical copy of this because I own this on my Kindle, but now I can actually go and annotate this, which is my plan for this month, so there we go. I just really enjoyed the story and I can't wait to pick it up again. I'm gonna go YA fantasy next. The first book on here, before I get to the series that I have, the first book I'm going to talk about is Realm Breaker by Victoria Aveyard. And I had a look at this because this was in my local bookshop and it sounded interesting to me. I'm assuming it's about a group of people because on the back it lists a squire, an immortal, an assassin, an old sorcerer, a pirate daughter. From what I've seen, this is a completely new series. It's not part of her Red Queen series. So I'm interested to see if I like this book. I think this is more like, this is catered to more towards older YA from what I've heard. I'm excited. I have never read anything by Victoria Aveyard. I'm interested to see what she brings, see if I like it or not. It sounds like something that's up my alley. I actually really enjoy sort of like found family-esque in books. I'm excited to pick this up at some point. Moving on to the next one. The next book that I got in January was Our Violin Ends by Chloe Gong. This was my belated Christmas present from my sister. She didn't order it in time for it to be delivered for Christmas. It arrived in January. This is the sequel to These Violent Delights, which is a Romeo and Juliet retelling. The first book was set in 1926, and this book is set in 1927. This takes place in Shanghai. It sort of combines historical fiction, magical realism, plus a retelling like into one book, which I really like. So there are like fantastical elements to the story. This follows the events of the first book, so I'll just give like a brief summary of the first book because I don't really want to spoil what's going on in here if you haven't read the first one. These Violent Delights is, like, as I said, a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in 1920 Shanghai. Juliet is Juliet Tsai. She's local. Roman Montagov is Romeo. He is a Russian immigrant. There are two gangs that are sort of fighting for control in Shanghai. So this is sort of like gang war as well. So you have the Montagovs, who run the White Flower, the Tsais, who run the Scarlet Gang. I really enjoyed the first book. I love the whole use of like gang warfare. I like the magical realism, and I'm just a big fan. I really enjoy the fact that this is written about a place where not many YA fantasies are really set. So I'm a big fan of the series. I like Chloe Gong's writing, and I cannot wait to pick this up. This is another book that I'm going to be reading in February, so there we go. Okay, now onto the series before I get on to my lone adult fiction. As you can see behind me, my Rick Riordan shelf may not look too different to you from here, but there is something different going on. My Heroes of Olympus series has been subbed out. My Heroes of Olympus books were getting a bit old. One of them was like completely falling apart. I mean, you can see the state of my original series, but one of the books was falling apart, and I just wanted a new set. The books that aren't are getting donated, so I'm going to be giving them away. So I saw these in a shop and I knew I had to pick them up. These are the new editions that I got. I'm going to turn them on their side. These are absolutely beautiful. I love the spines, and I'm a real sucker for illustrated covers. I've always wanted the American editions of these books, and these are the American editions. So, I mean, you can see the like increased floppiness, which is the main difference between UK paperbacks and US paperbacks. I'll go through these books really quickly because if you haven't read the Percy Jackson series, you need to read those first before you can pick these up. The first book in the series is The Lost Hero. I'll show you the cover because I absolutely loved it. This is one of my I just can't, like, I am excited because I'm going to be rereading these really soon. Like, I am going to be rereading them, and these make such a difference. So this is The Lost Hero. It looks beautiful. The next book in the series is The Son of Neptune. Similar to The Lost Hero, you have the three main characters on the cover, as well as like important scenes in the books. I mean, if you haven't read the books, then you're not going to know. But in here, you've got your main three characters on the front, as well as big thing about the setting. This is the Golden Gate Bridge. This just looks absolutely stunning. I'm loving the purples and oranges. It's just fantastic. The next book is The Mark of Athena, again with Arachne on the front. Not my favourite goddess, but I don't like spiders, so that's the reason. Really significant part in the book. I love the illustrations, as well as like Annabeth's got a moment on the side. Like, I love Annabeth so much. So yeah, there we go. That's book number 3. Book number 4, I still remember when this came out, The House of Hades. I was in year 11 when this came out, and like at the end of this book, I don't know how I survived a whole year of waiting before The House of Hades came out, because oh my god, like To my wonderful readers, sorry about the last cliffhanger. Well, no, not really. Ha 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 ha. But seriously, I love you guys. I still remember reading that for the first time. It's one of my favourite book dedications ever. And I love that cover. And finally, the last book in the series, you have every single person. You have the main 7. We'll put it that way. We have the main 7 on the cover. This collection just makes me so happy. Those are my new editions of the Heroes of Olympus series. I am so excited. I am going to be doing a reread of these soon. If you're interested, I might film a reading vlog of me doing them because I don't think I've read them since they came out. So it'll be interesting to see my thoughts now, not as a teenager. So there we go. Very excited. Although that felt like the end, it's not the end because I have a new adult fiction book which actually was released in January and I had no idea was coming out. I'm very excited because this is about a Chinese myth. This is a retelling of it, and this is the myth of Chang'e, who is the moon goddess. So this book is a retelling inspired by the Mid-Autumn Legend. The last time I read the legend of Chang'e was like when I was in primary school in Taiwan. We had picture books with all Chinese myth in them. Chang'e, if you're unfamiliar, Chang'e is the moon goddess, so the goddess in the moon. The story goes, originally there were 9 suns, so 9 suns throughout the sky. Hou-Yi is a really talented archer. The gods ask him to shoot all these suns down, leaving only one. He manages to do that, leaving 1 sun in the sky, so only 1 star. As a reward, he gets given two portions of the elixir of life, meaning he can become immortal. He gives those elixirs in the story that I remember. I know there are different renditions, but in the story I remember reading, he gives them to his wife Chang'e because he doesn't want to become immortal without her because he loves her so much. And one day when he's out on a hunt, his assistant, I guess, breaks into his house and tries to steal them from Chang'e because people are like that. But instead of that, Chang'e drinks both of them. And because of this, because she drank 2 portions of it, she actually ends up floating, and she floats all the way to the moon. And that's where she lives, and she becomes the moon goddess. I believe this is about her daughter. So raised on the moon, Xing Ying was unaware that she was being hidden from the Celestial Empire, who exiled her mother for stealing the elixir of immortality. So there is a different, this is a different part of the myth, because there is another part where Chang'e actually steals the elixir from her husband because she doesn't want to be with him, and she floats to the moon. I'm looking forward to reading this. I can't wait. I love the fact that more myths are being retold. I'm loving the diversity in different myth retellings, and I'm so excited. So yeah, there we go. I'm excited to pick this up, and I can't wait. Also, can I mention how beautiful the cover is? I think these are supposed to be peonies in the front. I think they're peonies. They look absolutely beautiful. This is the UK edition. So there we go. Those are all the books that I got in January. I'm not getting any books in February. That's one of the things that I'm not doing because my birthday's in March. I need to do another unhaul. I'm going to try and do more frequent unhauls. I'm going to go through my shelves again at some point, but that's for another time. Hopefully you've been introduced to something that's interesting and you enjoyed me geeking out over the Heroes of Olympus books, because that's the kind of person I am. I'm excited. A few of these books I'm going to be reading in February, so check back in for my wrap up. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you want more bookish content. I hope you have a wonderful day or night depending on when you're watching this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.